Hello and welcome to the 19.5 Minutes of Heaven we call the D1 Baseball Men's College World Series Preview and Picks Show. I am your host, Michael Patrick Rooney, and as always in the postseason, we are sponsored by Wilson. Want to encourage everyone, the Omaha experience down here at the Baseball Village. You've got limited edition products from Evo Shield, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, and Wilson. Shop for bats, gloves, and gear at the Omaha experience. Again, in the Baseball Village. If you're not here, just go online to evoshield.com/Omaha all tournament long. We've got the great Kendall J. Rogers here. We've got Jose Joseph Healy and a special guest who's also got a Wilson glove, a brand new glove, the great Jake Mintz. Jake, tell us about your mitt here.
It smells outstanding. When I buy a new glove, I want it to smell like a tannery. Okay? When I put my hand into a new guante, I want to feel like I'm rubbing a cow's behind. I want rawhide leather, my friend. They got all these flashy gloves now that the kids like, and congrats to the kids. I think it's great for the game. You go in there, you see all the the Technicolor gloves. Not me. Yeah. I want this thing to resemble the past. I want the past on my hand, and Wilson can make them for both.
And that thing is gorgeous. And I love the word
what they
guante.
say? They say blondes have more fun.
Yeah. And so, are we going to name the glove, or do we not? Are we not that in that vein?
So, as a member of the Jewish community, we have to wait 8 days for the bris and then the baby naming, and we'll see how things go from there.
Okay. So, as I write down vocab, I've got bris, guante, and tannery, words that need to be Googled after the show.
I think Matt still has some hair on his glove. It's so raw.
That's what I want, baby. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I have never been on this show before. It is a maiden voyage, and I hope we can have a good time.
Yeah. Yes, that's great. So, okay, I'm going to write down maiden voyage. The vocab you're slinging right now is just elite.
He has a very advanced degree.
Runes, do you know what a bris is?
I have no idea. I know it's something. It's a Jewish tradition, right? Is that fair?
Let's talk about this off the air.
That's good. Yes, that's good. All right, so boys, let's get to the college baseball, if you will. Yesterday, just another incredible day. The atmosphere for LSU and Tennessee was outrageous, just like we knew it would be. Wake Forest and Stanford played an epic game. It's funny. Everyone's saying the Tennessee LSU game was the worst game of the tournament so far, which is crazy because it's 5-3 in the eighth, right? After Skeens comes out. And so, Kendall, let's just start there. Give me an observation from yesterday.
I think the biggest thing for me is I thought Wake Forest looked pretty average, and they still won. Like they still, Danny Cronin gets the big hit. Right, Tom Walter talked to, after the game yesterday about how Rhett Lauder was just okay. I mean, the guy had 6 strikeouts, gave up 2 runs and 5 1/3 against one of the best lineups in college baseball. So when that's just your okay day, that gives you an idea how good Wake Forest was. I think in the nightcap, I mean, we're kind of running out of adjectives on Paul Skeens, right? 43 pitches. He had a great tweet last night. 43 pitches of
46.
46 pitches of 100 miles per hour or better. That's pretty good. It kind of reminds me of Runes back in his day.
Yeah.
I will say that there was a ESPN Stats and Info had a cool piece about pitches that have created the most strikeouts, and Paul Skeens has 2 of them, his 4-seam fastball and his slider. My wiffle ball sweeping slider was a pitch ahead of its time. I'm a little disappointed there's no data on that pitch, but thank you for the shout out, KR.
I will say this too. What's really interesting about Paul last night was, it was mentioned in Joe's story, but the last time they played Tennessee, it was a lot of fastballs. Last night, it was a lot of pitching backwards. It was a lot of changeups, a lot of sliders. And so he just kind of mixed it up a little bit and kind of gave you a different side of Paul Skeens than we're used to.
Yeah. Jake?
We were talking to Hayden Travinsky, LSU's catcher, in the lobby last night about their decision to sequence the way they did. And it was interesting. They were like, he mentioned how so many teams have watched so much Paul Skeens video, right? That Tennessee was prepared for Paul Skeens. They had seen Paul Skeens, right? And so they had talked, they wanted to throw the changeup a lot more, and it was the most they'd thrown the changeup in the entire season. And Tennessee had no response. I mean, there was the at-bat, I believe, in the top of the third, to Christian Scott, where he went, change, a hundo at the letters, and boom, boom, boom. That was it. What we saw last night was special. I think we'll remember that for a long, long time. I want to make sure that we appreciate moments like that, that we're very fortunate to witness things of that nature. It was a generational performance from a generational pitcher with sky high expectations, and he exceeded them. It was remarkable to see.
Really was. Joe?
I think last night's game was a reminder of just how terrifying LSU's lineup can be when Braden Jobert is, I don't know, conservatively the 7th or 8th most, game plan 4 guy in that lineup. And, he just goes double, triple home run in the game, right? And it's a reminder that there really aren't any soft spots in that LSU order. And, by the way, they have some guys on the bench. We still haven't seen Jared Jones, for example. They just casually have a guy with 14 bombs on the bench, right? So seeing that is just another reminder in a season full of them that this lineup is tough 1 through 9.
Yeah, no question. It's so funny what you said a second ago, Jake. If I'm Christian Scott and Paul Skeens goes change up, and then a Hundy, like I'm calling the authorities. Like that should not be a legal strategy.
I'm
in baseball.
tweeting the FBI with like an anonymous.
I'd like an investigation at that point.
There needs to be legislation.
Seriously. I mean, how are we supposed to live in this country with that stuff going on?
Yeah.
I'll just, before we do today, I thought Wake Forest, Seth Keener, kind of like, this is why you're the number 1 team in the country. You come out of a delay, and Stanford's throwing a freshman, and I like Nick Dugan. I think he's going to be a really talented pitcher. And Wake Forest is throwing Seth Keener 96 with a just nasty hammer breaking ball. So, all right, let's do today, boys. So we'll go around the horn. Let's go player and a theme for today. So game 1 will be TCU in Virginia in our first elimination game. Someone's going home today. Kendall, give me a player in the game and a thought.
Yeah, I'll go with Jake Geloff of Virginia. I think if you look back at that Duke Super Regional last weekend, when they needed somebody to kind of step up in those last 2 games, like he had big hit after big hit. So I think I kind of pinpoint him as the guy that after last weekend, they're going to need to have, a big showing today against TCU. I think for TCU, obviously the key to this game is Sam Stoutenborough. I saw him last week against Indiana State. It's a really interesting approach. Like the stuff is pretty average, but he's going to throw a lot of strikes. He gets a lot of kind of miss hits with with his pitches, and so he's just going to have to throw a lot of strikes. Because I think if you can get in that TCU bullpen, it can be a little bit troublesome for the Horned Frogs. So Sam Stoutenborough for TCU, and then Jake Geloff, low hanging fruit for Virginia.
Jake,
Geloff or Mintz?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to speak for Jake Geloff, please, by all means.
Certainly not talented enough to do that. I am just going to say the bullpens. I mean, both TCU and Virginia lost in heartbreaking fashion because the relievers they had gone to all year long didn't get the job done. Or in Virginia's case, Jake Berry was not put in a position to succeed enough in order to get the job done. And so today I am interested who is mentally ready to be in those positions, who is physically able after all the pitches that were thrown to be in those positions. And that will, if the game is close, determine how it shakes out. So how available is Luke Savage? I mean, he threw an inning and a third, I believe, but he allowed 5 runs in one of his worst outings of the season. And then Jake Berry, is he cooked? Is he available? Is Jay Wolford usable right now? These are all the questions I'm looking at the end of the game.
Yep. Jose.
Yeah, Ben Abelt, 47, 48 pitches as well for TCU, another guy to watch there. In games like this for TCU especially, where they're just got such a tough task with Virginia, you have to have your best players just decide we are not losing this game today. And so I look at a guy like Braden Taylor as having to be that guy for them. It's a good lineup all throughout. It's not on one guy, but you need, I think it was one of the coaches in the postgame, it was Jay Johnson said, you need your best guys to be your best guys at this time of year and kind of, drag you to victory sometimes. And, with Braden Taylor, we understand what he is for that lineup. He really makes it go. And I look for him to be a guy that just stands up and says, we are not losing today.
But he's not really that type of guy, right? He is more of like the slow heartbeat, even keeled, which is over the course of a season good.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want your best player to rise to the stage of Omaha, and I'm curious to see if Taylor can do that here.
That's a good point.
That's why we take recruiting so seriously with the fabulous Rune Dogs. You just got to have a bunch of real dudes stacked so that you can win games.
Well, I care so much with the bar fight meter.
That's right. Amen. I'm going to say this. I trust Virginia's position player group slightly more than TCU's, and I do think it's, to your guys' point, what position player group can impose their will on this game. And you alluded to it, Kendall. Like, that's kind of what Virginia did to Duke.
Yeah.
So, I would say, Ethan Anderson has become one of my favorite Virginia players. I think he's kind of like a star protege for Teal and Geloff. So, Jack O'Connor in the Virginia bullpen, someone in the Virginia bullpen, to your point, Jake, has got to be a surprise player in all this. So we'll come back and do our picks at the end.
The one other guy I want to mention is Griff O'Farrell.
Oh, love him.
Pest in the best way. he has been out. He's like been a revelation for me last couple of weeks. He is so entertaining. Great example of elite college player. I'm not sure what he is at the next level, but he is must-see TV when he's here. And I'm really excited to see him be a catalyst at the top of that lineup today.
Yeah, awesome college player. Yep, no question about it. By the way, you guys, we were at the Slowdown here over by the stadium, and as I understand it, the Slowdown is the only place down here where if you're coming for festivities, there will be no cover charge. And so,
there you go.
The Rooneys, the Rooney accounting department, we're strong believers in no cover charges. We're not really a cash organization anyway, because cash is not traceable. So good on you, Slowdown.
I'm sitting here with 3 gentlemen who have no cover atop their head.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is a perfect fit.
Yeah, no,
That's true.
that's right.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, we need cover for the head, but
I'm
not
offended
cover for,
by that.
Thank you. Kendall, take us to Florida and Oral Roberts, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is when I look back at last weekend, Hurston Waldrop in a super regional runes, I thought had his best start of the year.
Yeah.
And that I saw him maybe, what was it, about a month ago now, in College Station against A&M, and he wasn't landing the breaking ball for strikes. Last weekend in the Super, he was electric, and they're going to need him to do that again. I think the biggest thing for me when I look at this game, too, is Oral Roberts is one of those teams with Jonah Cox and company where when they get on base, they make things happen. And just Hurston Waldrop's command for me is the key to this game. If he can keep them from getting free passes, it makes ORU's offense really difficult to kind of get in a groove. So that's the key for me is his command.
Yep. Jake?
Florida's top 4 hitters were 0 for 15 against UVA before Wyatt Langford's home run in the ninth.
Wow.
That is a stat courtesy of our friend Pat.
Yes.
Shouts out to Pat.
Hey, Pat.
But that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Before Wyatt Langford hit a ball at Council Bluffs, right? That group, those 4 hitters were 0 for 15 against UVA. That's not what we remember from that game for obvious reasons, but they need to not be 0 for 15 through the first 8 innings of today's game for Florida to win. And then as far as Oral Roberts is concerned, I am so impressed with their short-term memory. They don't remember the last pitch, the last inning, the last day. It's incredible. Something that I talk a lot about when I cover small school, like D3 baseball, is the idea of playing for your childhood, right? When your last game of your last year is over, you're an adult. Like, you have to go work, right? It's time to earn a paycheck at that point.
You're like BT Rypel.
Yeah, like exactly. Well, he's already earning a paycheck, I believe. He's already got a job. But for Florida, like if they lose and these guys get knocked out, half this team's going to pro ball, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Oral Roberts, like they got to go work.
That's
so
right.
The second their season is over, it's like, all right, where am I moving? Got to clean out my apartment. Let's go find a job. We're paying taxes, the whole 9 yards. And that creates a different level of urgency for a team.
Love that. Joe?
That's such a good point. Because, I'm still not quite an adult, but it is, and I didn't play baseball, but I just understand on a very deep level, I understand that.
Playing for your
It's like,
childhood.
man, I do not want to go work for that insurance company next week.
Right.
That's why it took 5.5 years to graduate college.
I do not want to sell house insurance next week.
Yeah. No.
Amen.
In Tulsa.
For me, for this game, it's was that a shot at Tulsa?
It was
we
not,
need to stop for a
not.
second.
Tulsa.
Okay.
I would never do that.
I have family that lives in Depew, Oklahoma, which I believe is closer to Tulsa than it is anything else.
I will say this about Tulsa, though. No offense to people in Tulsa, but I'm always concerned whenever you're like a featured city on First 48. That's always a concern of mine. And Tulsa's always
doesn't sound
on
like a good thing.
Joe, anything about baseball?
Yeah. Nope. No.
Pass.
Pass. The thing for this game is that Florida needs to understand, and I don't think this will be an issue with them. This has been a team that's been motivated all year to kind of exercise the demons of getting eliminated in home regionals the previous 2 seasons, right? Yeah. So I don't think motivation is really an issue, but they can't just waltz into this game and think they can out-talent Oral Roberts. Now, they can, by the way, but you can't go in thinking that, because the other thing about it is, like Oral Roberts, they're not correct about this. Oral Roberts thinks they're the best team here.
Correct.
No doubt.
And so if you go into this game and you kind of Cadillac it a little bit, if you're Florida, like Oral Roberts is going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, in the movie Miracle, where Herb Brooks' character goes, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Florida does. Florida,
for sure.
You got enough talent to win on talent alone.
Yes.
Right. On any given day. But it might not be today.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
That's awesome. Yeah, Oral Roberts, their mindset is like demented and wrong and awesome all at the same time. Like they are, like twice this tournament they've been, they've had these wild. They're up 8-0 with the best closer in the whole deal, and they lose the game, and then they're down 8-0 in the Stillwater Regional and win that game easily. It's incredible.
Yeah, and they ripped TCU's heart out the other night. You know, you're thinking like, oh, TCU's got
Plays
this,
brothers.
and all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah.
ball game.
It's good to be a little stupid.
That's right. Maybe even more than good. So my guy is Josh Rivera. I just think he's been the best player on the field for like 4 months. And it's like he's on this Tom Brady, Blaine Gabbert FU tour right now. Like he didn't get drafted last year when probably he should have. He underperformed, and screw you, whatever we want to go with there. We didn't say the word, right?
What is this getting mean today?
Sorry.
What is the
I like
Tom
it.
Brady Blaine
Happy
Gabbert
Father's Day.
FU
Well, I
tour?
threw Blaine Gabbert in there as a dig at our good friend Aaron Fitt. Like I wanted to shove that
Wait,
in there on
who's that?
Fitzy. Who's Blaine Gabbert?
No, who's Aaron Fitt?
Yeah, well
I
said.
don't know. I don't. In the words of Mariah Carey, I don't know her.
Yeah, that's right. Well said. Well done. So yeah, I'm all in on Josh Rivera. He's playing unbelievable baseball right now.
BT Riopel. I mean, we can't get through a Florida preview without saying his name.
Of course.
Yeah.
That
You know,
man is
just
locked in.
hitting home. Like, how about against? I forget what left-hander that was. It was Berry, but left on left, opposite field home run at the Chuck box. That's just we're not seeing that with any regularity.
BT Riopel is also locked in just as a human. Like I passed him in the hallway the other day, like in the bowels of the stadium, and he was just his gaze did not like break from wherever he was heading.
Yeah.
His eyes were locked on it. You know
what I'll say too is like in the postgame presser the other night, like granted, like if I was a college kid, like I'd have to like trouble answering some of these questions too. But like people ask him questions and everything has like really deep thought to it. Like you can tell he's thinking about really good answers. And I love that about him as a player.
That's a kid who reads the dictionary.
I like
There's
it.
no doubt, man. He's on the ball.
Let's do picks. Kendall, who are you picking for the 2 games today?
I will go with Virginia in game 1, and I will go with Florida in game 2.
Jake?
So
I've always wanted to be exactly like Kendall Rogers. Growing up, that was my dream, and so I'm going to do that today.
Yes.
Virginia and Florida.
You know what? I'm afraid we'd have a clean sweep otherwise, so I will go Florida in the winners game. But I'll go TCU in the other game because I don't want us to I don't want it to be like that thing on College Game Day where people screenshot us all picking the same thing and then it backfires on us.
You're right. This is just like College Game Day.
Except at the slowdown.
Yes.
That's right. And no private jets.
Where's my horn frog head that I can pull out?
Yeah. Your instincts were good though, Joe, because I am going Florida and Virginia, so it would have been a clean sweep.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And now if I really get ahead of myself, Virginia wins this game, and then if they beat Oral Roberts, you get that Virginia-Florida rematch, Virginia with a little momentum. But again, like for Virginia, there's going to have to be some pitching revelations here because the current pitching staff is not enough to challenge Florida coming through the losers bracket. So, gentlemen, well done. That was good. Day 3, we're about to begin here at the College World Series. Thanks again to our friends at Wilson. Thanks to the people at the Slowdown. That is it. You need something, Kendall?
Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there.
Yes. Awesome.
My kids called me this morning. It's kind of funny. I was tweeting about this a minute ago, but I actually started loving college baseball back in 1993. My dad took me to the Central Regional in College Station. Back in that time, you had those huge regionals, and I just remember the atmosphere of that being so awesome. And so when I think of why I started loving college baseball is because my dad took me to that regional back in 1993, so I'm always very thankful of that.
Yes, that's important. Happy Father's Day from Kendall and 3 childless men.
That's right. I'm an uncle,
Thank
though.
you.
I got that going for
You
me.
guys give me a gift?
It ain't Uncle's Day, Runes.
No.
Are we sure Jake is fatherless?
Yes, I am fatherless.
Yeah.
Come on.
Can confirm. So I have a great picture I'll show you guys when we get done here of my dad coaching our 1982 Newtown Edgemont Little League District 19 champs, #Go Green Machine. And the coaches wore green polos, where our colors were green and gold, with the most incredible white slacks. Like the coaches on purpose wore white slacks.
I love it.
They were so ahead of their
Charlie
time.
Finley must have been proud.
Oh my gosh. You talk about fashion forward, like fashion forward 3 decades. So anyway, that's it. Hey, everybody enjoy the day, and we will catch you tomorrow on the D1 Baseball Picks and Preview Show.